Good evening, Kevin Dawson, Ward 2. I look at you all and I see a lot of gray hairs, and I'm getting a lot of gray hair myself, and I'm thinking, God, I'm 57. This is a 55-year term lease. I reckon we're all going to be dead before this lease runs its course. And I think it's unethical to contract for that long on your part. I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be contracting shorter term and giving an option to renew. And that at least gives some future counsel the ability to review the terms, and if they're satisfied, go forward. Negotiating exclusively for a giveaway deal like this smacks of cronyism. 55-year lease where the first 4 years of rent are forgiven, there's no rent, and then the rent is fixed for 16 years before it starts adjusting. I don't know. What if the city says it is a business and it's going to run itself like a business, is this the way a real private business would run itself? What is the industry standard in the private market? Would they enter into this type of an arrangement? Do they have enough resources that they can give away a lot up front to entice somebody to come in, somebody that they want? Do they do that kind of thing? I would like to see the staff report, hey, is there any escape clauses in case you guys get into this and you decide, oh, this was a bad fit. We made a big mistake. How can we back out? You're locked in for 55 years? That's... I don't understand. You know what? In 55 years, if you think about it, how many times have you seen the property market, the housing market go up and down, bubble and bust in 55 years? And you're locking us in here. You can't predict what's going to happen over 55 years, but I can tell you, the history shows it goes up and down, and you're tying the hands of future councils to where they can't make decisions to adjust for the changes in the situation of the city or the market or the downtown area. I find that shameful. Morally corrupt in some respects. Thank you.
Jason Hunter.
Jason Hunter, Ward 1. I don't think that Measure Z is going to pass, but I'll tell you a ballot initiative that would be something that would limit this council to doing any deal over 10 years, okay, when you're not going to be on this council anymore and it ties the hands of future councils. I think that would pass and go into the charter. So I hear folks like Councilman Davis say often enough so my ears bleed at times, that the city needs to get out of the landlord business. We're terrible at it. So here we are getting ready to drop a 55-year lease. Okay? So first, I got a few points here. Number one, this needs to be competitively bid now that there's what we'd call in the private sector a stalking horse bid. Okay? I have structured billion-dollar deals before in the private sector. Okay? What you do with these kind of deals is you get a stalking horse bid like you've got here. Then you take it back out to the market. You market it. You have your staff go out there and find, not just sit on their butts, but find people who might bid for this and see what the market comes back with. And if somebody has a much better deal, you take it, you pay a breakup exit fee to the developer who put their time into this, okay, because I think they should deserve something for coming up with a stalking horse deal. But that way you're getting the best deal, because currently, I'll tell you, we got a deal going on here where we have asymmetrical information. We have a developer who knows the P&L of these types of deals, the profit and loss, and we got staff who does not. Okay, I would take the developer any day of the week negotiating that deal. And I'm the taxpayer. I want more for my money. Number two, the length of the deal interferes with futures council's abilities to dispose of the complex altogether. Is entertainment and food, the Fox complex, what the government should be doing? Is that a vital service? You're out there trying to pitch this $50 million sales tax increase saying, we need vital services. And you're spending all this time and energy and money on food and entertainment, okay? We need to get, at some point in time, the council might become up 4 years, say we need to get rid of this, okay? It's time to cut our losses on this deal. The Fox Pomona, by the way, is in private hands, okay? And tickets are half the price of our Fox here, because I've checked. Okay, the last thing, I'm concerned about the profit-sharing mechanism where the city takes a percentage of the gross revenue. Why is that? Because the government should not be operating in the for-profit arena. Do you guys know the difference between private sector and public sector? Do you know? Have you ever read anything on it? Okay, and so this looks eerily like a sales tax when you take a percentage of the gross without a vote of the public. And as somebody who really likes to take a look at Prop 26 and 218, I'll be looking at this deal very closely.
Brings public comment to a close. City Manager, response to public comment?
Yeah, I'm not exactly quaking in my boots at that threat because it's not a sales tax, obviously. So my advice, Mr. Hunter, for whom I have a great deal of regard for his intellect, but as someone with 31 years in law and 11 years as a city attorney, yeah, go ahead. Let's see if you can get an attorney to bring that case. I'd love to see that. It would probably verge on malicious prosecution. Second, there's an awful lot of misinformation. We unfortunately have folks who at the same time tell us we should run like a business and then complain when we do. Here's the basics of this deal for people to understand at home. It's a 55-year lease because the city has a building that it's offered to the market that it could not achieve the kinds of functions at pure market that would allow us to draw people here, to create jobs, to create energy, to create activity, to support the existing restaurants and restaurateurs, to support the existing hotels, to support the businesses, to support expansion. And so in order to do that, when you're a city, as we are, who do not have capital hanging around to fix someplace up to draw a tenant of quality, you create a 55-year lease so that the city is not paying tenant improvements. The city is not even paying landlord improvements, which are the kinds of things that would happen in the private sector. And frankly, for some of the speakers who make claims about understanding the commercial real estate market, I have to say some of their statements lead me to doubt whether they have any, even the most rudimentary understanding of how commercial real estate works. So let me explain it to you. Number one, when you're a commercial landlord, there are landlord expenses that need to be handled. Those are fundamental expenses in getting a building ready before you can even offer the building to the market. We don't have that. All we have is a shell. Second, you then have to negotiate tenant improvement allowances. We don't have that either. So given that, and the fact that we were able to attract a quality development from a team with a known track record, welcomed by others in the same marketplace in our town, the locals, people like Ronaldo, the fact that we were able to do that at no upfront costs to the city, zero, not 1 penny for tenant improvements, not 1 penny for landlord improvements, and out of the deal, we get a share of the profit. And some of the same people who are up here complaining about this are the same people who say we don't know how to run this organization and we should learn how to run it like a business. Now, the bottom line comes out to this is a fantastic deal. It will draw lots of people to downtown. The arguments that we are not Anaheim, that's correct, we're not. And that facility is 42,000 feet, and this facility is less than 15,000 feet. So it does, in fact, matter. The other piece of it is this. If you want to run government like a business, then you listen to the market. The market says we can get this done if we provide a long-term lease. That doesn't mean we're getting into the business. In fact, a long-term lease is often something that's used instead of a sale. So in that type of a situation, you do a long-term lease. We're not in the business. We're not acting as the landlord. We're basically acting almost like a partner where we pick up a revenue stream for an asset that right now is not generating $1 for our taxpayers. Not generating $1 to provide public safety services, park services, museum services, library services. Now, I'm sorry if I sound a little agitated. I'll tell you why I'm agitated. I'm agitated when people who ought to know better stand up and use terms like cronyism, ethics, and moral corruption in order to down what we all are trying to do together with those people who have invested in downtown, who every day work in downtown to make downtown a better place and make it something that generates revenue so we can provide services not only in downtown but throughout Riverside. Some people who ought to know better ought to examine their consciences about why they're here opposing every single item that this government proposes every week, and I would commend to them the first 10 minutes of the movie Horse Feathers. Thank you.